of all, it all kind of works. There are a few things I feel maybe don't work as well, but as far as my own perception of her, I tend to write her a bit more in the present, more in keeping with what she is now, which is somebody who's moved on largely from the Joker, who still has a very fun attitude and a very freewheeling attitude, and very confident and a lot of fun. There's an episode of Justice League Action coming up, which is just a solo story about her out on the caper and just kind of messing with Superman and Stargirl and just sort of having fun. And when I do write stories that put her back at that time, like when Jimmy and I did the Harley Loves Joker stories recently, I tried to look at with a bit of a new eye, so that she's not quite the yes boss hench girl, that she is looking at this more as a partnership that is sort of their sweetheart period, where being with him is new, and so if he gets angry, she's more quick to rise and show her temper, and if he says, "How can you leave that stupid clue behind?" she goes, "No, no, no, no. It's your fault, you did this." And to give it a bit more of a back and forth makes it a lot more interesting to me, and it makes them more equals, and that's the way I see her now. So I don't think I could really write her as just part of the gang anymore, even writing a story that took place at that time. And that's what's been a lot of fun, writing those stories. So that attitude will probably continue when I go back and finish up that storyline. Yep. In the back.
What's your favorite costume throughout all the years of Harley Quinn?
I'd have to say the classic is pretty much the original. The Bruce Timm classic is pretty good. And there have been some very interesting variations. I think the Arkham suit, the various Arkham suits, they were effective for the medium that it was in. I like just putting her in different outfits that always sort of recall the red and the black. And as long as she's wearing like some version of red and black, that's very true to Harley for me. But it always goes back to basically the Jester suit. That was a. What were you gonna do? Oh, what was I gonna do?
What were you gonna wear? Sexy Harley outfit.
I was gonna wear the Daddy's Little Monster T-shirt. I got the largest size they sold at Hot Topic, and I'm just going to take the jacket off and say, well, everybody's wearing it, and then I tried it on, and I realized it's probably not going to be that. There is this thing that exists called.
It actually looked fine, but you could see through it.
Yeah, it's a little bit see-through, it revealed a little much, and we have this thing called the internet. Just thought I might not. And then I tried on the Harley Converse shoes, and I had trouble with the laces, and we were running late.
But he likes the Daddy's Little Monster costume too, because he bought one.
Yeah, I did. Stop by and haul. Hi, yeah. Who do I think's badder, the Joker or Harley Quinn? Joker, a lot worse. I think of Harley as sort of, infatuated with him, especially early on, and she believed that he was probably a nicer guy, or a more emotional and loving guy than he was, and he really is not that. Discovered that it's really not quite the case, and I think that she's sort of moved on from him, and I just think the Joker is he has his moments where he can be very nice and very charming, and certainly he can appear to be, he wants something, but he has got kind of a screw loose, and so it doesn't really have a constant. I don't think he's really set up to be that nice a guy overall, unfortunately.
Do you think it'll ever be possible to have a true to this origin story live action adaptation for Harley Quinn?
Maybe like an adaptation of Mad Love, or a lot of the elements of their story.
Well, just because there seems to be a trend with especially
Yeah.
there were a lot of live action adaptations. They really tend to deviate from the source material
Mm-hmm.
too much, and it's a little disappointing. And so I'm sure that over the years, it'd be really nice to see something that is like true life.
I can't say. I don't know what goes on with the movie folks. I can hope, and I think that there's enough people like Harley, and they like the source material, and they like a lot of the things about the origin. So I'm hoping that if they do make a movie that touches on that, they can bring in more elements of that and be true to the source material. And, I've always thought it was a pretty solid story. So again, the demands of making a movie are a lot more complex than I'm used to. So, but we can see. I mean, she sure has a lot of fans out there, as far as among fans and movie makers. So here's hoping. Yes.
Will you follow the microphone, please?
Yes. All right.
Hello.
Hi.
So I really admire your work as a writer.
Thank
so
you.
I'm very interested in knowing what the project you're most proud of. As far as
I haven't read it yet. They're all kind of good. They're all kind of good, but it's like it's always the next one. It's always the one down the road, and I just. I mean, I love them all, but once I'm done, I'm kind of done, and I get excited about the next thing I'm writing. So I'm very fond of a lot of the Batman episodes I worked on, and some of the comics, but I couldn't, pick a favorite or one that I hold, above all of those. I like them all. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Yes.
Hi. All right. So, big fan. And just wanted to ask, what was the thought process behind the upcoming Harley and Ivy with Betty and Veronica?
That just seemed like a fun idea. I remember when DC told me that was in the works, and I just said yes. That's something I really want to read it, but I also want to be involved with it. And we talked about it at length, and then I thought, I would this would be a lot of fun to write, but I also think my friend Mark Andreyko would really like to be in on this, because I like his writing a lot. He loves both the Batman and the Archie characters, and he has a really nice way of looking at it, a nice sensibility and a good sense of humor, and we've been looking to kind of team up on something, so I said, let's work together on this, and it's been a lot of fun. So it's just, seeing all those characters running around together is just, it's kind of delightful. It's a good time. So.
Hi, Paul.
Hi.
Hey, I'm Paul too. Big fan. Also, question.
Yeah.
So, what was it like writing for Star Wars: The Ewok Show?
That was fun. I mean, that was.
Really? You sure?
Okay, the experience was fun, and that was at a time when I'd just been out of school a short time, and I was working at Skywalker Ranch, and I was talking to George Lucas, and he was in this nice little area when I was doing, a lot of stuff was going on. So it was just a fun experience. Well, that was great. We were recording the episodes in San Francisco. We had a little team working on the ranch. I will qualify and say that trying to do a show like that with Saturday morning restrictions at that time, and with the input of the network at that time, was, not what it could have been. It was nothing like later when I worked on Clone Wars, where basically it was just, the gloves are off and do whatever you want. But as far as a work experience, it was a lot of fun. And I wish that it had been more of the Star Warsy thing that it would have become later. But for the time being, it was nobody was doing a show like
she
that.
had I forget, they were a group, I forget what they're called.
Hey Paul, thanks for coming tonight.
My pleasure.
So one thing I wanted to ask you was, have you and your
No,
family
not that. That's
got a chance to
why.
write
She
Battle
has a
for
group of
Metropolis?
people. She had
No.
henchmen,
Is that at
henchmen,
Six
and they
Flags?
were dressed as her.
Let's go. All right, we're all going. We got a bus outside. Now, how is it? Is it good?
Is it cool?
Oh, it's good.
Awesome.
Okay.
And Harley's in it a lot.
Oh, awesome. All right.
You know what? What if he puts this thing on Twitter and we all meet up there and ride it together?
All right. We'll go, we'll go one weekend. We'll do like a Harley.
See you, let us do something.
Well, okay, all right.
What? You know, let's just throw it out there. I'll text Kelly right now.
Oh, all right. We'll see what we can do. Sure. What you got?
In Man Who Killed Batman,
Yes.
Harley Quinn makes an appearance as an
Yeah.
attorney character.
Yeah.
In your mind, was that a glimpse of the original Harley Quinzel's personality, or was that her more putting on a show
as another character?
Well, I think at that point I had written down that her name was Harley Quinn, and we just never used it in the show. So it is kind of weird that she would use her own name, especially as Bullock would probably know what her real name is. But you know, it was just one of those things we decided to sneak in there, where she passes herself off as attorney Harley Quinn. And there was a little bit of, when Arlene was doing the kind of lawyer voice, she would sort of return to that characterization when she did Mad Love some years later as Harley's original voice. And but it was just, you know, I had the name, I wanted to use it, and just stuck it in there. It seemed to work fine.